What's up, guys? Hey, I want to thank everybody right now for subscribing. I appreciate it. I know there's a lot of people that watch these videos. I see the numbers, 72% are unsubscribed. Hey, if you guys could just subscribe, my ass will be in Florida probably in a couple weeks. So anyway, I thank you guys who have subscribed. Those of you who haven't, hey man, I definitely would appreciate it. Subscribe, like, share it out, put it on Instagram, do whatever you got to do. So the video today that I'm doing is the best riders to never win a premier Supercross. And when I say premier, in the older times, McGrath era, it was a 250cc 250cc two-stroke, and in the modern era, it's 450cc. It's whichever class is featured as the premier class. So I'm going to start with this list at number 8 on my list. Actually, first off, I'm going to go with a couple of honorable mentions, because they're still active racers. Right now, the most qualified or premier guys that really need to get a win, Malcolm Stewart and Adam Cianciarulo. Both these guys desperately need a win, and I expect them both to get a win, but if not, when their careers are over, they will be on this list. So they're two of the best riders that I think haven't won a 450 premier race. Numero 8 on my list, Steve Lamson. Lammy, he had 2 podiums, so that's not a lot for a guy on this list, but he did have 2 national championships outdoors. He was on the Honda in the McGrath era. I mean, he was good. Like, I'm shocked he didn't eventually get one win, especially in 97, when Honda went all in on him. He was their only 250 guy. There was a lot of pressure on him to get a win. And number 7 on my list, one of my favorite riders of all time, and one of the coolest dudes I've ever met and raced against in Supermoto, Mickey Diamond. Mickey Diamond had 3 podiums, but like Lamson, he had 2 national championships outdoors, and back in his era, it wasn't that different between outdoor and Supercross. Guys that won one were expected to win the other. He was close. I mean, he had a couple races where he was right there. He was extremely talented. Just didn't quite get it done. But I mean, the guy came from a Husqvarna and instantly won 2 outdoor national titles after that. I mean, he's hanging out with Motley Crue. We fully expected Mickey to get a win. He never did, but that doesn't mean his career wasn't an absolute success. Mickey was a bad dude. Number 6 on my list is Christophe Pourcel, the French rider. This was one of the, I like watching Christophe Pourcel ride, he was almost unlike anyone that I've ever seen before. How effortless, how skilled. He was fun to watch. I was a Christophe Pourcel fan. Christophe Pourcel is a cautionary tale of when you overplay your card. So he won 2 125 championships, or 250 championships, the regionals, and he was going to the 450 class. He thought he was worth a whole lot more than apparently what the teams thought he was. So he ended up having to sit out that season, tried to ride the outdoor season with, I believe it was Moto Concepts. It went 2 rounds, then blew up, ended up back in Europe. But had he accepted less money, which I'm not telling anyone to accept less money, but I mean, you can also, if there's no rides, you take what's available. But Christophe Pourcel, yeah, I mean, I really would have liked to see him go into 2011 on that factory Kawasaki, and it would have been interesting to see what he did. So, anyway, number 6 was Christophe Pourcel. Number 5, Ernie Fonseca. Okay, and now I said this on the last video that I did about wasted talent, that I thought Brian Swink was the only guy to win his first race and win the championship in the regionals his first year as a rookie. And a lot of you guys who are smarter than me reminded me Trey Kennard did it. And then doing the research for this video, I also remembered Ernesto Fonseca did that. He won his very first Supercross, which is amazing considering how bad he was when he first got to the test track as an amateur. But it just goes to show how hard he worked. I mean, Ernesto Fonseca had 10 podiums. And you can't have 10 podiums without eventually getting a win. It just, you're bound to luck into one, right? And it's not luck because you consistently put yourself up there. Unfortunately, he was in the era of Chad Reed and Ricky Carmichael and James Stewart. Not a lot of wins to be available with those three guys. But had he not had his catastrophic injury in, I believe it was 2009, I think he would have absolutely got one. So, and I have to check the year on the injury, but you know, he got hurt practicing in between Supercrosses, broke his neck, and unfortunately, Ernie's in a wheelchair. But yeah, number 5 on the list of best riders never to have a 450 Premier or 250 Premier win. Number 4 on my list, another rookie, Brian Swink, a guy that won his championship in his very first season, won his very first Supercross. Brian Swink was amazing. I mean, he did things on a bike that were just crazy. His biggest deal is, I wish that he hadn't signed with Suzuki and he'd stayed with Honda. And he even said in post-career that he kind of wishes he would have done that. But when he got to the 250, the Premier class, he had arm pump. He was riding an inferior RM 250, and he just never got it done. But I mean, then again, in that era, McGrath took over, and it was really hard to get wins if you weren't McGrath. I mean, he really hogged them all. So anyway, number 4 on the list, Brian Swink, Swinkster. Number 3 on my list of best riders to never win a major Supercross or Premier Supercross, Tim Ferry. Tim Ferry, he actually holds the dubious honor of being the only regional champion to do it without winning a race. He did that in 1997. That's not to say he hasn't won plenty of races. He's won plenty of, East Coast Supercrosses. He won a few. He was very fast. He was smart, smooth. Tim Ferry ended up with 17 Premier podiums. I don't know how you get 17 podiums and one night the two guys battling for the lead don't hand it over. Like, it's crazy that he didn't actually get a win, but he didn't get a win. I mean, but then again, he was also in that same era with Carmichael, Reed, and Stewart, and those guys were hogging a lot of those wins. Number 2 on my list, Sky Cooper. The Oklahoma rider had 10 podiums, and he had some seriously close calls at winning races. San Jose in 1991, they take the white flag as he's passing Jeff Matasevich for the lead with 1 to go, and Matasevich center punches him and just takes them both down. I mean, just a horrible move. Doug Dubach got the win, his only win. Yeah, it's crazy. Doug Dubach wasn't a guy I probably would have even put on this list, but he actually has a win. But yeah, Guy Cooper got taken down by Matasevich, and that one, he had Oklahoma in 1989, had a giant lead and ate crap. I believe it was the 88 LA Supercross where Rick Johnson went down in the first turn, caught up past Guy Cooper on the last lap. 1990, the best Supercross ever in Atlanta. Guy Cooper was leading and Jeff Ward passed him with 1 to go. I mean, there was so many times when Coop was just like that close to getting one. Never did get one, but he's still one of the all-time greats, Sky Cooper. Number 1 on this list is Travis Pastrana. Yes, the Travis Pastrana. Never won a Premier Supercross. He won lights, or 250s and regionals and outdoor nationals, but he never won a Supercross main event, the big class. He had the talent, and it's shocking. If you asked me beginning in his career that he wouldn't get 1 win, I'd say, like, you're an idiot. He was so ridiculously talented. But Travis did something that was different. I mean, he had a couple injuries, and he took his career in a different direction. I mean, he's done rally car, freestyle, Nitro Circus, NASCAR, Supermoto, you name it, and Travis Pastrana has been a part of it. Arguably, not winning a Supercross doesn't mean 2 shits to Travis Pastrana. He's the most popular motorcycle rider, racer, athlete probably in the world right now. Still, to this day, everybody knows Travis Pastrana. I mean, not too long ago, he jumped Caesar's Palace fountains on the Evil Live thing that like broke all sorts of crazy records. But yeah, Travis Pastrana never did get a Supercross win. So remember, guys, like, subscribe, and Cooksy Mob, I appreciate it. You guys are the best. Hit me with your answers. Who'd I miss? I know you guys are smarter than I am. So yeah, let me know in the comments, and I look forward to chatting with you guys.